Rainy day in Florida. That's not unusual, is it? But we're getting a nice rain today. Those of you here, I hope you're staying dry. Those of you that are in other places, hello, and hope you're doing well. We look forward to seeing those of you who come in during the snowbird season. We're looking forward to seeing you back here. And hopefully, as things clear up, we'll see more and more people come back to church. We're still watching that mean old COVID virus, but if you feel safe to come, we're making preparations to still distance from one another, touch-free communion and all of that. So hope that you can come. Been preaching a series on the Sermon on the Mount. Stole the title of a commentary that I really like for you to wrap your arms around what's being said, calling it Speaking Jesus. And it really is especially in Matthew, the fullest account of any sermon that we have that Jesus preached. It's the longest account of him speaking, so it's worth our attention. Now we're going to look at Matthew 5:21 through 48 this week, and it's an amazing effort by Jesus. The deal is that he is trying to talk with them about 7 different topics, and he does that with movement and brevity, which everybody likes in preaching. He does that clearly, and he talks about topics like anger, lust, marriage, forgiveness with enemies, revenge, and what God's intention is regarding all of these things. He deals with it in that short span. We talked about the Sermon on the Mount being Jesus' effort to speak into the world exactly what God's intention is for us in life. He uses the law because the law had been misused as a place that we didn't really have to go much further than some token efforts to be what God wants us to be. If we lived out law, then we were okay. Jesus would say, I think, that sin is missing the mark. That was the literal interpretation of it in the Hebrew. When we miss the mark, what is the goal? What is the target? We sin. Jesus' idea was in helping us hit the mark, and in so doing, give us the trajectory we talked about, where our understanding of God moves us further along until we hit the target. And the target is pretty clear and yet pretty difficult for us to live out in God's world. So Sunday, in less than 20 minutes, I'm going to try to talk about some really crucial things that Jesus did in less than 28 verses. Now, people didn't speak in verses, but in the interpretation of Matthew of that sermon, it's very clear in a short amount of time what Jesus has to say about these important topics. So we'll see how it goes. I know Jesus had a gift with being clear and being precise and also being profound and witty even. When he spoke, people followed and listened to him. I hope on Sunday we will focus on what Jesus is saying about these topics. They affect us all in our life. Hope you'll come ready to hear them. If you'll read this passage, it'll help me a lot in going into the sermon and in using that time well. So we look forward to seeing if you can come on Sunday. We're continuing to worship in good ways at the gathering, and it's a very hopeful context. It's a good place where people can stop even on vacation or even when they're here for brief periods of time and worship. It's also a place I'm learning of community for those of us who live here, where we can connect and contact people of similar faith and be enriched during that time. And it's also a place where we're open to people who do not believe, who are wondering in their life or questioning God or faith or any of those aspects that some of us hold. We've got a place for you, and we have a place for you without judgment, that you may come and be a part of what we're trying to do and learn each week. Bless you this week. Stay dry.